morning and welcome to Let's Travel. Thank you so much for listening and watching. Today's guest is John Olivan, Vice President of Programs for the Southern California Tour Guide Association. Obviously, tour guides in California have been highly impacted, like everywhere in the world. Tour guides have been not working since the beginning of the pandemic for the most part. We're having a conversation about how it's going now and how associations can help, and how guests, visitors, tourists can find a good, qualified local guide. Thank you so much for listening and watching, and please subscribe. Thank you, John Olivan, for joining me at Let's Travel. I'm really excited to talk to you. And I saw you at your event a couple of weeks ago. Thank you very much. It was wonderful with steel drum music, a wonderful summer party in Los Angeles. So let's talk about the tour guide situation. There used to be two organizations. Now there's one. You're the VP of programs. What is the current status for the organization in Los Angeles?
Well, actually, for many years, Los Angeles and Southern California never had a tour guide organization. New York did, San Francisco, Chicago, major cities. And, we were, way behind the times. The groups that existed, our group and the Los Angeles tour guide group, they're, relatively new. Our group has been around longer in different forms. It was started by ITMI up in the San Francisco Bay Area. ITMI, I'm sure you're familiar, is a very prominent tour guide school. And originally our group was comprised of former students of ITMI. And actually, some of the best tour guides in LA that I have experienced are all graduates of ITMI. However, I consider myself, relatively a good tour guide, and I never went there. but
Same here. I was trained by Los Angeles Tourism.
Also, at the times, though, because the group, we no longer limit our membership to just ITMI students. And we currently have about 50 members. We have had more in the past, but during COVID, we haven't had a lot more, but during COVID, there was a major drop off. A lot of tour guides literally got out of the business or even moved. So we don't know exactly what's going to happen right around the corner, especially as I'm sure you may be aware. I don't know if any of how aware your viewers are, but the COVID, the Delta variant is really throwing a lot of question marks into the recovery of, not just tourism, but even entertainment, restaurants, and hospitality, travel. So we're sort of in a transition right now. We're waiting to see, in this present moment in LA, things are looking like a little more severe. So anyway, but so we are looking forward. We're looking past this.
Yeah.
We believe that around the turn of the year, probably beginning with the Rose Bowl, hopefully things will be more settled then with the virus. We're going to go into a really busy, robust tourism time period. That is the prediction, the forecast. People are tired of being pent up. They want to go out and travel. They want to do things. So that is going to really impact on us. Plus, next year in February, our city is fortunate enough to be hosting the Super Bowl game. And that's in February. That's right after New Year's. So hopefully, if we can get past this Delta variant situation, we'll all be busy.
Hopefully. Talking about busy, obviously for our industry, in March of 2020, we all received weeks worth of canceling emails and cancellation phone calls. It was devastating. It's been a very rough year in the tourism industry, or a year and a half now. You know a lot more local tour guides than I do. How is everybody faring? What are they doing? You mentioned some moved away, switched professions. Some are working. What's the signs of hope? I met a few locally who are doing some tours. What is the situation?
Well, it's looking better, a lot better. There was a period of time where literally things were static. No one was working. Some of our members, they panicked. That was their main source of income, and they decided that they needed to find other remedial sources of income right away. So I'm not sure they're going to come back into the tour guide fold. We're hoping they will. There are other people who adapted. Even myself. I mean, I was during some of this, I was Uber driving just to bring in some source of income. I know other tour guides were doing, whatever, the food delivery or Grubhub or whatever. That way they wouldn't have to have contact with people either. So, but they could have some. And also, there was a sizable number of our members who were able to take advantage of the federal pandemic benefits for gig workers. That was a godsend. Initially, it was a very generous amount. I think some people were getting, $700 or $750 a week. That was for a limited period of time. Then it dropped way down to, I think like $400. But still, when you're not working, it's a major help to have any form of subsidy coming in.
Mm.
So I think we're going to have an interesting year. I think we're probably going to see new tour guides. I'm sure there's going to be a demand for new ones that right now doesn't exist, and I'm not sure how that won't be handled. But we'll take one day at a time.
What kind of services does the Southern California Tour Guide Association offer to its
Well, I mean,
members?
we in the past, what we have been, of course, has been a clearinghouse. In other words, we match guides up, local guides up with tour operators. Say we have tour operator who's not based here in LA, but they need to hire, they have a client that's coming out here and they need somebody who can do XYZ. They can go to our website and they can find skilled tour guides and their contact information in areas of specialty. That's always sort of been our mainstay. However, we're expanding. We're looking at what can we do as our part of the tourism industry. What people forget is when we have visitors come here to LA, tour guides and oftentimes are the face and spokesperson for the city, whether the city likes it or not, or whether the tour guide realizes that we're there sometimes the only or main form of contact. So we're of great we have a great impact on people's reaction when they visit here in LA. And a part of what we want to do is also offer our members a chance to improve. I mean, maybe get critiques on some of their abilities. We also want to be more community minded. So, like, for example, recently, some of our members have offered to volunteer for a historic cemetery of all places, Compton, California. That's one of the oldest cemeteries in LA County that has not been up to par. And they're now operated by a nonprofit and they need assistance. And there's so much historic value that our members were very inspired, and we've already been over there once, a group of us, and we're planning to go back again.
What is the status of tourism right now? We have a few Americans traveling. Obviously, there are no foreign visitors, which is cutting way into our business because we have usually a huge number of foreign travelers. Do you know many companies that are up and running?
Well, a lot of local smaller tour operators are catering to the tourists who are from the US. And if you go to Hollywood and Highland, you go to the Griffith Park Observatory, you go to Santa Monica Pier, you will see large droves of tourists, but they're not international. They are local tourists. However, we've been very much following the news media, and there's been pressure on Washington to change their policy and start allowing visitors, perhaps who have evidence they're fully vaccinated, because other countries are not restrictive as much toward the United States going to places in Europe. And there's a little bit of uh, confusion and hostility, thinking, well, as long as our um, travelers are fully vaccinated, why can't we visit the US? And also, we're hurting financially because tourism brings in so much revenue. It's a major source of revenue for the entire state of California, but particularly, these main tourist areas, Santa Monica, Venice, Hollywood, and to some extent downtown LA.
For the domestic visitors who are coming right now, how do they find a good tour guide? If they want to have some help and gets a private tour or a small group tour, where do they go? How do they find somebody?
That's a really good question. We are actually in the process of updating our website. I mean, our website does have current names of our members and contact information, but we want to make it easier to access. We have a Facebook page that's very active, but that's not really viable contact. So right now, I'd say our website is the main source. We also refer people to other organizations, like national organizations. Like the other day, I got a request from a small tour operator. John, you know everybody. Do you know somebody in Utah? And I didn't know anyone specifically who did what they were looking for. So I referred them to the international, the organization of tour directors and guides. And I've been to their conferences, and they're a great organization. They're national. So they're also another source. And anyone can contact them. You can just send info at their website, and they respond, and they'll give recommendations.
And I will link those websites, yours as well as the international one, in the description. So viewers, please look below in the YouTube description, go to the blog, or go to the podcast description. The links will be in there. We're also going to explore more with our friends from Hollywood Boulevard. I met a very nice tour guide, local tour company at your party, at your event. So it was a wonderful time. And thankfully, things are slowly reviving. Let's hope for the best with international, because that's my market and I haven't seen anybody, obviously. And hopefully we'll get tour guides back. How do people who want to sign up as tour guides contact you? On your website? How do you sign up?
They can go to our website, or they can just, if you can add this as a contact information, you can say SC, Southern California, TGA, office, OFFICE, at gmail.com. That's our main email address. And that will get immediate attention. Great. And we can forward them to our membership director.
Great. Wonderful. Thank you so very much for the conversation. I hope we get all to travel again soon.
Thank you so much.
Talk to you soon.
Bye-bye.
You too. Bon voyage. Bye.
Bye.